You have to light your green screen anyway, so why not make your lighting the green screen? I feel like was that confusing? I feel like that's confusing. Let's start from the beginning. One of the most used tools in filmmaking, certainly one of the most used tools in visual effects, is the green screen. But we've always used green screen the exact same way, a green screen that your subject stands in front of. And of course, you have to light that green screen. And that's always made us think, is there a better way to do this? And in a recent episode we did on the emotion of color, Josh shot all these test shots in my theater room on this white, mildly reflective fabric, and he was hitting it with these RGB lights. So as we were looking at this footage, Josh had the idea of what if we use this screen with these new RGB lights to dial in our own green screen? Can we make it more versatile and just have it on white fabric and use the RGB lights to completely change how we think about green screens and backgrounds in general? But first we had to find out if this idea was even workable. Is it just a stupid idea, or is this something that we could actually shift how we do things? So we started off with some tests. So first we grabbed our camera and some lights and went back into my theater room to utilize that screen we used in the other episode to see if it would work, and it absolutely does. Just looking in camera, it looks like a green screen, and it has that extremely well lit sort of glowy look that out of all the green screen work I've ever done, that sort of look is always the type that always ends up being the best final result. But over in After Effects, we dropped on key light and placed a white solid beneath our footage so we could see the details better. Then we added a spill suppressor to clean up the remaining green spill, and as you can see, this worked really well, keeping a lot of detail in the hair, and this footage is only 1080. 4K would show even more fine detail. But then we went and grabbed our green screen pop-up filter and put her in front of that and lit that next to compare the two. And shockingly, our version of the green screen light on the white background is keying a little better than our traditional green screen. And our light version is keeping more detail with less flickering. And this pop-up green screen is pro green screen fabric. Now don't get me wrong, they are very close, but the fact that this method is actually even just a little bit better has me very excited, because this does open up a bunch of possibilities. Now, if you don't already have a screen like this, we did get another one off of Amazon for $25. It showed up the day we were shooting and it looked like Josh slept in it, so we did have to fix that with a quick 10 minutes in the dryer, but then it was good to go. There's still some wrinkles here, but it works for what we're trying to do. And that is to just see if this super cheap fabric would work just as well as that pricier screen fabric that I have in my theater room, or if it would cause some issues. But it worked just as well. So this idea of having white fabric and lights that shift color is absolutely working for us, and working very well. And the thing that has me most excited about this is that these are RGB lights, so we can shift to any color we want. So we can test out something that I've wanted to do for a while, and that is to try out different colors to see how they key, like blue screen, red screen, and so on. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the lights that we're using to pull this off. And those are these Kame TV Boltzmann Perseus travel lights, which Kame TV has partnered with us again on this episode and sent these for us to try out, and they worked perfect for this. The light is nice and soft, so there was a nice even spread across the fabric. With green screen work, of course, avoiding those hot spots helps a ton to get a cleaner key in the end, so that's a plus. Obviously. These lights also connect with a remote and an app. That way you can control all of them in unison, especially for things like this, when you want all the lights working together and matching each other in the end. So this made it a lot easier to switch in between all the different colors while we were shooting, but this is also a big help if you ever rig your light in a way that's not super convenient to get to. I feel like nowadays an app remote is just kind of a must to have. But these lights also connect to each other, so you can change settings on the body of one light and it changes on all the other lights as well. So you can match them together and keep them that way. And then they also have these V-mount batteries, so you can have the option of going totally wireless if you need to. And they're also stackable, which makes them super convenient to travel with while keeping a small footprint. Just being able to stack them like you can in the case is a lot cooler in practice than I even thought it would be. And again, they are RGB, which as I talk about all the time, is becoming an absolute must for me. The ability to shift to any color your little filmmaker heart desires is just a massive plus. They also feel super solid and overall are a great size. Not too big, not too small. So for us recently, they've been really good fit for almost all purposes. KameTV has really been doing an awesome job with their lights lately. So if you are interested, check out the links in the notes below to see them for yourself. But jumping back to why I'm so excited about this new setup is over the years, we have done a ton of product shots and talking head stuff on color backgrounds, and paper backdrops can be a real pain, and switching between different backdrops can be even more annoying. It doesn't seem like the biggest deal, but those little inconveniences do get in the way of creativity for me. So what I love about Josh's idea is now we can just go with this one fabric that we never have to move, and all we have to do is adjust the setting of our RGB lights to get any background we want. We can jump to red, green, blue, or pink, or just white if we wanted to. Really, any color we want as our backdrop for product photography, talking head work, or that music video color style you see a ton lately. And that also made me wonder about keying different colors, like I said before. I've always wondered, specifically with digital cameras, is green always going to be better than blue, with the blue channel getting a little noisier often with digital cameras, but that's not always the case, at least from what I understand. So we wanted to see if there would be a big difference. Usually you're gonna go for green, I think, again, because of that digital factor. But if your character is wearing or using something green, like in some of our Christmas episodes, you're going to want to shift to a blue screen. So we shot both to see which would key better, and surprisingly, the blue wasn't that great at all. I mean, it's not terrible, but it didn't retain anywhere near the detail the green did, and there was a lot more spill. But I also wanted to try out other colors like keying red or yellow, and now a ton of skin tones can be a little bit yellow or a little bit red, so we were definitely skeptical going in, and as expected, it did alter some of the reddish tones of Emily's face. So you can try sliding the screen balance values left to right, see if that changes anything. You can also lower the clip white to try to salvage more detail, which does work in this case here, but that is all pointless work. Just don't use the red screen. The only case I could see this working is for product shots where certain colors like yellow or green is the main focus, since the idea of keying is just to put something in the background that is of such contrast that it will separate the foreground very easily to create a matte. We also tried yellow, but that was similar to red with a skin tone issue, though it did keep more hair detail than the blue version. And surprisingly, pink ended up being the best of the alternate color tones at retaining detail, but ultimately the best color by far from all the results is green. And another thing about going with lights is if you have an RGB light and no white fabric, just throw the light on a white wall and have this massive green screen wall that you're just shifting with light. So for us, we're definitely going to be shifting to this method going forward. Just the convenience of having one area to handle several things without having to move anything at all is just the best. Of course, the one area that this is not going to work at all is shooting outside during the day, since you'd have to be battling the sun. So in those cases, we're still going to be sticking to our pop-up green screen, but beyond that, we're definitely moving to this new method of the white screen with the RGB lights. You have to light your green screen anyway, so why not just make the lighting the green screen? On an unrelated note, if you're a director or shoot anything at all, really, shot lists are a thing that you probably do. And if so, you'll probably dig these shot lists from Plot Devices. Of course, Seth is one of my closest friends, but this one really is killer. It's simple and only has what you need, which for me is massive. Just cutting out all the noise is a must when in production. And I love having physical things to write on, since you are always changing the plan on the fly. It makes it super easy to keep track of where you're at, what you need, and again, to rewrite your plan as you go along, which I am always doing with pen and paper. So check the notes below for links on that and the KameTV lights we showed today. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.